Canon 80D is an advanced DSLR for enthusiasts and professionals. It replaces 70D and brings a good deal of updates. Under the hood there is a brand new 24 megapixel sensor promising better dynamic range, new 45-point autofocus system and better video mode, just to name a few. In terms of build quality and handling, there are no surprises. 80D feels natural in my hand with well-designed grip and logically placed controls. I really like the shape of the thumb rest. It allows holding the camera with one hand, a piece of cake. Also, all of the controls are on the right side, so you can use it with just one hand if needed. Body is weather sealed, so using it in wet or dusty conditions shouldn't be an issue. From ergonomics standpoint, somebody might find only two objections. First, there is no joystick thingy to control autofocus points like on 7D or 5D. You need to reach for multi-way controller surrounded by rear dial. And second, that dial and multi-way controller are placed a bit too far at the bottom, quite far from where your thumb usually resides. Still, due to the size of the camera and LCD screen, I don't see how it could be any closer. It may just be a thing you need to get used to. Image quality delivered from brand new 24 megapixel sensor is excellent, and I wasn't expecting anything else. By default, images look quite neutral in terms of contrast and color saturation, what is great for post-processing. Colors look great without weird color hues, and as I said many times before, for me Canon and Olympus have the best colors. With some Nikon and especially Sony and Panasonic cameras, I often had to tweak them to my taste. Canon looks just great straight out of the camera. Noise begins to show in images at ISO 1600, but it is very uniform and easy to remove. Same can be said for ISO 3200, and ISO 6400 is the highest I would use on this camera. ISO 12800 is here only for emergency or if you don't mind visible noise in images. Dynamic range is greatly improved over any Canon camera so far. I tried lifting exposure by 5 stops in camera raw and results were stunning. Some noise is introduced, but that is normal. What surprised me at most is the complete lack of bending. Not a single line in any picture, no matter how much I pushed exposure. In this regard, it is even a bit better than 5D Mark IV, which, although has overall better quality, still has bending in some areas. Compared to Nikon D7200, Nikon is still a bit better with less noise and slightly better colors in lifted parts of the image. But Canon made a real progress here, and this might actually be the best Canon APS-C sensor ever. Here are a few real-life samples to show you what can be done with images if you miss exposure or have to deal with high contrast scenes. Colors are desaturated in lifted areas, but that can also be fixed. Even the noise disappeared for the most part after some experimenting with the sliders in camera raw. 80D might currently be the best Canon for landscape photography due to this ability to lift shadows at ISO 100. Try something like this on an older Canon body and you will scream in horror. Video can be recorded at 1080p resolution and 60 frames per second. Manual controls over exposure are available, as is the case with audio recording level. There is no 4K and that might be a big deal for someone. Zebra, peaking and some sort of flat log profiles are also missing, typical for Canon. Video quality is rather good. Colors are nice and there's a good deal of details in videos. I didn't notice moire in any of the samples I took. Compared to, let's say, 7D Mark II, 80D has much better looking videos. In low light, 80D has good video results up to ISO 3200. Some noise can be observed in dark areas, but it's perfectly usable. 6400 in my opinion is a bit too much for this camera. Important part of video is focusing, and 80D has dual pixel system I already praised in my 5D Mark IV review. Everything I said then can be repeated for this camera as well. Basically, dual pixel focusing makes Canon the best brand to choose if you need autofocus during video. It doesn't even matter if it doesn't shoot 4K, this focus completely makes up for it. It works reliably without hesitation or weird focus shifts. Once it finds focus, it stays in focus. You can use touch screen to gently shift focus and the camera will follow it. Best of all, there are no sudden jumps typical for previous generations of DSLR or mirrorless cameras. All this video capability actually makes me want to buy one myself, but I will still wait to try out the new EOS M5 mirrorless with the same sensor and dual pixel functionality. Small camera size is what I'm after right now. Autofocus has 45 points, all of which are cross-type, and the central one is sensitive down to -3 EV. As far as I have tried, it works without issues for everyday use, but I would need to spend more time with the camera for final judgment regarding focus tracking for sports or wildlife. Here's a quick demo of shutter sounds. I can say silent shutter sounds as quiet as on my 6D. That's important for me since I do street photography. LCD is fully articulated, has 3 inches diagonal, 920,000 dots and is touch capable. Viewing quality is superb, it has nice colors, a lot of details and perfect viewing angles. Touch controls also work excellent, what is essential to make the best of the dual pixel autofocus in video mode. Touchscreen is active for all the camera functions, focusing, firing a shot, menu or playback, and supports multi-touch. Lithium battery is strong enough for around 1000 shots. It is the same model used in all higher-end Canon bodies for the last 7 or 8 years. Great stuff if you already have a few of them from previous camera. There is only one slot for an SD memory card. For most users that is fine, but Nikon D7200 has 2 of them, what can be useful to separate different files on each cards or use them as backup for commercial work. Connectors are on the left side, mini USB 2.0, mini HDMI output, input for wired remote control and 3.5mm input for microphone and headphones output. What I like best is the way Canon placed microphone and headphones connector so they don't get in the way of articulated LCD. That's a really neat detail. Menu system is easy to navigate and visually pleasing. I won't go through all the options, I'll just point out few more interesting features. RAW format offers 3 sizes, 24, 14 and 6 megapixels. I am regularly using smaller RAW resolutions when I know high resolution will not be needed, but I still want to keep all the flexibility at post-processing. ATD can remove lens imperfections for JPEG files, vignetting, chromatic aberrations and geometric distortions. Auto ISO control is excellent. ATD gives the option to select lower and upper ISO limit and shutter speed at which the change will occur. It goes all the way to 1/8000th of a second. For example, my 6D only offers 1/250th of a second as highest value. Interval shooting is included, no need to use external wired shutter release anymore. ATD can show electronic level and grid lines in viewfinder. There's no need to buy focusing screens just to get grid lines anymore. Locking switch beside the rear dial can be programmed. I used it to deactivate touch LCD from time to time. Overall, ATD is a camera that offers a lot. Sensor is clearly the best from Canon in terms of dynamic range, autofocus is capable, body is well constructed and easy to use. With some good lens selection, this camera is ready for pretty much anything. I couldn't find any major complaints. It's just a few details which will matter to a smaller group of users, like only one slot for memory card or the lack of 4K video. Video is also a strong selling point on this camera. It has excellent quality and effective dual pixel autofocusing, best on the market if you ask me. If you think autofocus is important to you, I would advise getting this camera over any other, no matter the lack of 4K video or flat video profiles. It is just that good. That's all for this review. If you want to support my channel, subscribe to it and also buy stuff on Amazon using my affiliate links below this video. You will not pay any more than otherwise, but I will get a small percentage from every purchase. Thanks for watching.